message was पेयड़े धन भरम भुलानी दूजे लागी फिर पछुतानी हलत पलत दोवे गावाए सुपने सुख ना पावने. The metaphor that was used here was a relationship between husband and wife, and the laws learned in your parents' house and then implemented in the in-laws' house. That was the metaphor. Peyadi literally means the house of the father. This may be a little foreign concept for the Western mind, but in the East, after marriage, the bride leaves the parents' house and goes and lives in the in-laws' house. So now, when you keep that model in mind, it becomes obvious that for the bride, the change is monumental. Not only the names and the faces have changed, also the customs, traditions, value system, everything has changed. How is this metaphor applicable to spirituality? Just as a bride goes to the in-laws' house, the soul as a bride goes to the husband's house, which is the creator. That's the comparison, that's the simile. Keep that in mind and you will see the message. Message says Peyade dhan bharam bhulani. Peyade means father's house, dhan means the wife, bharam means to develop the mindset which operate in a duality. We are living on this planet and we are living the life of duality. For us, it is impossible to experience joy without having experienced sadness. We would not know the difference. If there was no night, we would not be able to appreciate the day. We live in a life of duality. The life beyond here is a life of non-duality. He is the truth, the purest form of truth. We know the truth here by also knowing the falsehood. We cannot know the truth if there is nothing to compare it against. The truth over there has no comparison. I am that I am. That I am is not there because I am, because you are. See the difference? Here, I am because you are, because you are, because you are. The other is there. Only then I can say I am. But he has no other. Yet he says, I am that I am. No duality. In the house of the father, the daughter can get away with the murder. And she will always be forgiven. Why? Because both parents, father and the mother, remember that the daughter stays in that house only for a certain amount of time. After that, she is going to leave this house and make her house somewhere else. Because of that, they do not impose any strict discipline on her. But the boys will always be under a strict discipline. And normally the brothers will always complain to the parents, she gets away with everything, how come I cannot do that? And their standard response will be, she is not going to stay with you forever. Let her be happy now. Because you don't know what kind of environment she will end up. Neither does she. So what does that do? That sets up a very, very vicious circle. When the bride goes to the in-law house, all she knows is what she has learned in the parents' house. She has no other point of reference. So everything she does according to what was done at parents' house. And the in-laws say, that doesn't go here. It cannot work here. Now there is a conflict. Why do you think in society the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law relationship is always kind of competitive? Why is that? Because it is built in the definition of the relationship. The relationship is not properly defined on both sides. The mother-in-law insists, this is my house, you will do what I tell you. And the daughter-in-law says, this is not what my parents have taught me, I will do it my way. Hence the conflict. How is that applied over there? Now let's take it into a spiritual dimension. Same model. Here, I am a Sikh, I am a Hindu, I am a Muslim, I am a Bodhi, I am Christian. But over there, none of that matters. See the difference? Now if I insist over there and say, my guru told me to do this, that's why I did that, he's going to say, hold it. Spiritual laws are not the same as physical laws. You cannot bring the physical laws and try to impose them into that dimension, in that world. So what is the solution to all of this? The answer is, while you are at your parents' house, develop the characteristic, develop the maturity, develop the strength so that you can function equally well in that environment as you are functioning here. So if you don't develop that capability, which is what we are sitting here and talking about, what is his house? We know what is this house. We've been living here. Here your thing, your mine thing is mine. There everything belongs to him. Neither to you nor to me. And you cannot tell him, this is my share, give it to me. Thy will be done. It is his will who he gives, what he gives, how much he gives. The rules are different. The laws are different. A soul who does not prepare itself in this dimension to accept the laws of that dimension will be sent back. Just as a bride who does not settle well in the in-laws' house is sent back to the father's house. Exactly the same. This is a social, physical relationship. That is a spiritual relationship. But the parallel is very, very glaring. A bride who has learned the flexibility and adjustment. What do we say in our society? What is the law to make the marriage successful? Don't we say this? It is called compromise. What does that mean? If you haven't learned the art of compromising, the marriage will fail here as well. Which is what we practice here. Which is what the parents teach here to every daughter. First, when you go to your in-laws' house, take your time to understand the environment, understand the people, their nature, their likes, their dislikes, and you adjust accordingly. Now we are living in the 21st century and we are going to have a hell of a problem with that statement. What do you mean that? Why should the girl be always adjusting? Nobody said that. That girl should always be adjusting and the man doesn't have to adjust. It's not implied. What's implied is art of compromise. Pick what is most important to you to take a stand on. Don't stand on every little thing. It is a very, very common, almost a comedic joke that the husband and wife fight because somebody left the toilet seat up. And now there is an argument. You always leave it up. Is it a big enough and important enough issue to pick a fight? My toothbrush should be always on the right side. Why it is on the left side? Is it big enough to fight? Learn to compromise. That art needs to be learned when you are in your parents' house and mother and father have that responsibility. Whose responsibility is to give this as a spiritual law? That is our guru, that's our master who teaches us that flexibility. And if we learn that flexibility here, our life here will also become very easy. Because we don't learn that flexibility, what happens? The wars, the fights, the bloodshed. My guru said this, the other one said no, my guru said that. Let's fight it out. But if we had learned the art of flexibility right here, there will neither be fight over here nor a problem over there. So the message was, Peyede dhan bharma bhulani. While at parents' house, the work has not been done. No attention has been paid to looking at the next dimension, next life. If a girl is staying in a parent's house for the first 25 years of her life and she is educated and now she is ready to be married off and she is going to go to the in-laws' house, the marriage starts a brand new life for her at the age of 25, and she has a long way to go. And if she does not learn and grow with that model, what will happen? Doojee lagi phir pachatani. Because all of the habits, all of the characteristics belong to doojee, the other, the outside world. Our entire training is how do we behave in the outside world. Entire education. You show me one college, one university, one institution which is dedicated to teaching you how to go inward. Not a single class in the entire universe. I'm not just talking of India or America or anything else. I'm talking about the entire world. But there are universities and colleges telling you how to behave in the outer world. That's how we learn. We don't even think that there is another world. We have a nagging feeling that something is still missing. Yes, I do all these things. And as we start growing older and getting closer to our final days, this nagging thing starts becoming louder and louder. What have I done? What I have accomplished? Why was I here? What was the purpose? Whatever I did, why it is not making me happy? A dog gets up, eats, go to sleep, and get up and eat and go to sleep again. You do not see the same type of sadness, melancholy, pensive mood and expression on a dog's face. So long as he's surviving, it's okay. But we are surviving better than the dog. Yet, there is certain tension. There is certain uneasiness. Certain nagging. What is it? We don't stop and think about it. When that nagging becomes a little louder, so what do? Let's go have a drink. Let's take this capsule. Let's go to Las Vegas and gamble away our worries. And we try every possible technique to avoid that nagging feeling. But what happens? The moment we step out of that environment, the nagging is back. What is missing? Today, the answer is given to us. Last week we were told, Doojee lagi phir pachatani. You stay continuously immersing yourself in the outer dimension, you will eventually find it out and it will be too late. Pachatani. You'll regret it. You will repent about it. That nagging was from your inside. It was saying you are feeding your body, but you are completely forgetful about your inner being, the energy. You can give it any name. You can call it soul. You can call it atma. It doesn't matter what you call it. But there is something inside which has not been attended to at all. Forgotten, ignored. Why? Because parents didn't say anything, society didn't say anything, universities didn't say anything, business didn't say anything, so there must be nothing. But then why am I uneasy? Then the mystic comes around and shakes up the tree and say, look, go inside. There's something in there that needs attention. It needs your tender loving care. If you don't do that, what will happen? Halat palat dome gavaye supne sukh na paavni-aa. Halat means this dimension, palat means that dimension. You are a loser in both. By just ignoring one simple thing. And that one simple thing became the whole thing. Slowly, slowly, it grew into such a large thing. Now it appears, it's impossible. I can't do anything. It's too big now to handle. I have to come back. I have to be born again to address this problem. And the cycle goes on. We forget it when we come here. We go back there. We are reminded you haven't attended to this. We say, okay, fine, give me one more chance. He says, sure. He's eternal. He's not going anywhere. He's not in any rush. If there should be anybody who's in a hurry or in a rush, it should be us, not him. So what is the answer then? Peyede dhan kant samale. That is the answer. Peyede dhan kant samale. गुरु प्रसादी वेखे नाले पिरके सहज रहे रंगराती शब्द सिंगार बनावने. While you are at your father's house, meaning while you are in this life, pay attention that someday you are going to go meet your husband. Someday you are going to go to your in-laws' house. Start preparing for that now. Because it's a long lead item. You do not develop habit patterns in a day. It's going to take time to form that. What husband are we talking about? Does this make sense? The next hymn gives the answer to that question. What husband are we all talking about? Ad purakh aprampar aapay. Ad means something that was before the time. We know three types of time: past, present, and future. All these three types of time belong to the outside world. But there is one time which belongs only to him. And what is that? When the time wasn't there. Prior to the time itself was born, he was. And when the time will end, he will be. Ad purakh. We are talking of that husband. It is not of any kind of ownership, it's not any kind of slavery. It is your original home. You are going to go to the original source. In Zen Buddhism, there is a meditation technique. They give you a mirror. In Sanskrit, that's called taritak. Means tik-taki laga ke dekhna. Look without moving your eyelids. They give you a mirror and say, go sit over there. Look into this mirror till you find your original face. That's a technique of meditation. What is our original face? Can you think about it? What did I look like before I took this body? I wasn't a body. I was him. I was part of the same light. If he is a sun, I was just a ray of the same sun. That's my original face. Every other face is the face of the external body. And the teacher says, don't come back till you have seen your original face. And the student sits there and slowly, all memory starts projecting through that mirror. And all he has to say, this is not my original face, this is one of the faces that I adopted. Till there is no reflection in the mirror. The day there is no reflection, he can go back to the teacher and say, I have seen my original face. It's talking about that original face. Aad purakh aprampar aapay. I'm talking of that husband who's beyond the bondage of time and space. The most difficult concept for any scientific mind to comprehend. They have just no clue what we are talking about. It is all a gibberish for them. How can there be no mind? How can you start with a word and reach the wordless? How can you start from the sound and reach the soundless? It's totally, completely unintelligent for a scientific mind. But that is exactly the reality for those who have actually experienced it. Aad purakh aprampar aapay thaap, aapay thaapay, thaap uthaapay. He is the one who is the creator. Not only that, thaapay means to create. Uthaapay means to destroy. Creator and destroyer joined into one. And the Hindu mystics added one more dimension to him and said, he is the creator, he is the sustainer, and he is the destroyer. Unless you are into the metaphysics, this will not make sense to you. I am admitting that upfront. This is not for a mind that's binary in thinking, on and off, 0 and 1. The entire computer world is built around 0 and 1. That's it. This brain is not built into 0 and 1. It's not designed for that 0 and 1. Because it has two parts, two halves. One that deals with the 0 and 1, we call it a logical side. The other one deals with those things which are not part of the mathematics. So we call one the digital, the other the analog. You can ask any medical professional, they will tell you one half controls the left, the other half controls the right, etc., etc. Because one is emotional processor, the other is logic processor. A scientific mind stays stuck on the logic side. Because when a woman feels sick, you measure the temperature and say, well, this is the problem. But when a mother feels love for the child, how will you measure it? And how will she explain it? What do you mean you love your child? Describe this feeling of love. Can a mother ever describe it? Put it into words so that others can, who have not felt that love, can also feel it. Impossible. Love doesn't fall into the category of 0 and 1, on and off. But that's part of our life. Love, anger, hate, enemy, desire, these are all the qualities that are part of brain which is non-logical. These words are for that side of the brain, which is Ad, purakh, aprampar, aapay, thaapay, thaap, uthaapay. He creates and then he destroys. Only very recently, the astronomy has discovered galaxies merging into each other, striking, colliding with each other, and then merging into each other. And they are looking at those pictures, that this galaxy will be eaten by the other one, and this will be only one. Created some stars and some galaxies, and then destroyed some galaxies. But they won't see a superior hand in this. They will see, oh, these are laws of nature, the gravity is pulling and so on. But they will not go, who created the gravity? They'll call it nature. In which they call it God, a creator. This one, the husband we are talking about, sabh mein vartai ayko soi gurmukh sobhaa paavni-aa. He is not different for different people. He is not a Ram to a Hindu, a Vaheguru to a Sikh, and Allah to a Muslim, a Yahweh for, he is not. It's only one. Across the board. No exception to the rule. Sabh mein vartai ayko. Only one. One creator, one creation. But a very few will get it. Who will get it? Gurmukh sobhaa paavni-aa. Those who have their faith, their belief, and have been lucky enough to find a true master. How do you find a true master? What you do if you find one? Rahaa-o, jee-o, nirankaaree naam Dhi-aavani-aa. How? Ego. Surrender. Suspend all that knowledge that you have gathered here. Put it on the side. Not forever. You can pick it up afterwards if you want. But while you are with your guru, with your master, put your knowledge on the side. Only then he or she can put something inside you, which is non-logical. Because with the logic you would not understand. It will not make sense. Rahaa-o, jee-o, surrender. When you surrender, what will you get? Nirankaaree naam Dhi-aavani-aa. You will be given the memory of nir-akar. Nirinkar, nir plus akar means without form, without body, without shape, without any human characteristic. Those who insist on the creative energy to have a physical characteristic, they are never going to get it. They will argue and fight and destroy themselves and destroy the others, but they will not get it. Because the creative energy is just that, an energy without form. Nirankaaree. Nirankaaree naam Dhi-aavani-aa. So the master will give you, here is the name, here is the identity. No shape, no form, nothing. Learn to imagine the formless within you. How can I do that? I am only experienced in identifying the form. And the master will say, just wait, there will be a light switched on inside you when the right time comes. You just wait for that light. Don't look for any shape, form. Oh, I dreamt about and I met my Jesus last night. How did you meet Jesus? And how are you sure that he was there? Oh, I could recognize him. From what? Did anybody sit down and ask Jesus, stay there, I'm going to make a portrait out of you? Is there any original portrait available of Jesus Christ? No. So how do you know what you saw in your dream was Jesus? No, dear, what you saw was an image of a picture that you had seen somewhere. That memory played back in the dream. Jesus had no business in coming into your dream. We do that all the time. Everyone says, I met my deity. I saw Ram, I saw Krishna. They all do that. And if you ask them, which Krishna did you see? They show you the picture on their wall. As if that's the real one. As if the Krishna looked like that. We are so arrogant and egotistical as if Jesus has nothing else but to appear in our dream. I am so important. He doesn't go anywhere else. He comes to me every night. No. Varee, jee-o, nirankaaree naam Dhi-aavani-aa. And it expanded further. This roop na raykh-i-aa, ghat daykhi-aa, gurmukh, alakh, lagaavani-aa. Look at the emphasis. This roop. Roop means the shape. Na raykh-i-aa. Rekha means the contour. The lines that form the shape. So there is nothing. Be real. We are matter born out of non-matter. So that our interaction can become easy, we are given the form. We are so arrogant, we say that God speaks English. Actually, there was a book written, God is an Englishman. So I guess when I go back there, if I don't speak in English, I am not going to be able to converse with him. There is no concept that the thought transmission does not need a language. And we are doing that sitting right here. Aren't we? Aren't the video waves all around us? Aren't the radio waves all around us? What form do they have? As soon as an instrument like television, we put in front of it something that was totally formless, suddenly becomes formless. Suddenly becomes a form. But the communication is taking place without the form. No, but I must tell you, God speaks English and only English. And he is a white male with a long beard. and white hair and sitting on a throne with a staff, and he is judging everybody. You go to hell forever, you go to heaven forever, you go to back to the earth. Look at the picture of our God. I make one mistake and I am supposed to burn for eternity. He is not a kind of a judge who says, okay, for 2-3 years you can serve and you will be forgiven. No, 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 no. You are now condemned for eternity, not just for 1 life or 2 lives. That is the image of our God in our own mind. Look. What a tyrant. What an unjust. That who will take one mistake for which there is no repentance, there is no forgiveness, there is no small price pay and get on with your life. No. Go to hell and forever. That's our image of our God. And we will fight for this. You better accept me, otherwise I'll kill you. Or I'll die defending my faith. No, sir. That is mumbling of a little child. The reality is, this roop na raykh-i-aa, ghat daykhi-aa, gurmukh, alakh, lagaavani-aa. It is a pure energy which has no human characteristics. It doesn't care what we do in our body form. The body cares what we do in body form. Whatever we have done, as you sow, so shall you reap. God has nothing to do with it. He has made the laws, given us the laws. We see it all around. If I stop eating, I will lose weight. If I start eating, I'll gain weight. God has nothing to do with it. Those are the laws. Let us get real. Let's learn while we are here in our parents' house, in front of our Guru. Let's get ready to meet our husband of us all. Every single one of us will eventually be asked, what have you learned in your parents' house? And we have to adopt to his model. What is his model? tuDh, kirpaal, parabh. The model, his model is tuDh, kirpaal. Grace for everyone equally. No distinction. What part of the land you were born, what time you were born, what did you learn on the planet, none of that. The grace belongs to everyone. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that grace is available to every single one of us. No distinction, no judgment. Because the grace will get into the pot if the pot is empty. If the pot is ready. If the pot is clean enough, the grace will automatically fall. It's raining out there. But is the water collecting on the top of a hill? The water is falling. Why not? Because the law says water will collect at the bottom. What is the metaphor here? If your ego is like a hill, the grace is not going to stay there. It will slip. And if your ego is at the bottom, the grace will collect. It will stay. It will be contained. He is not doing anything. He is not holding the grace from you. If the grace is not staying in your pot, look at your pot. The grace is flowing. tuDh kirpaal parabh soi. Tudh mein doojaa avar na koi, and there is no competitor for him. There is no competition. There is no other. There is no second one. Why can't we know how the earth and how the things were made? Why can't we know it? What is the problem? Here is the answer to that. The problem is that there is no witness. If there was another, while the creation was happening, then the other could say, I saw it. I was there. But there's only one. There was no second one. Because there is no second one, you cannot know. Only he knows who did it. Jakarta srishti ko saje aapay-English soi. The one who created it, he is the only one with the answers. Stop competing with him. Stop challenging him. I will tell you how you did it. I'll find your secret. You know the terminology we use? Conquering of nature. Look at this. Look at our arrogance. Conquering the nature. I am the conqueror. Science has conquered the space. Why? They have put the man on the moon. They have sent the machines to the Mars and the planets and on and on. They have conquered the space. The man has set himself as a warrior against the creation. He has become a fighter. And it is the language of fighters. I conquer. You have conquered absolutely nothing. You are like a little kid who rides the shoulders of the father and then tell the father, Father, I am taller than you. What do you think the father does then? Does he slap him around silly and say, you are not taller than me? No. He says, yes, beta, go on, play. Yeah, you are taller than me. Which is what the Creator is doing right now. We are sitting here claiming we are winning. He says, yeah, okay, go play. Yeah, you are winning. That's okay. Go play. Stay busy with your little machines. But we wouldn't wake up. We will continue playing this game. We will not accept the fact, तुझ बिन दूजा अवर ना कोई. There is no other one. गुर प्रसाद करे नाम देवे नाम में नाम समावने. There is only one way. Slow down. Hear this message, which is Gur Prasad Kare Naam Deva. Wait for His grace with the folded hands. Let the grace come to you. And what will be that nature of that grace? Naam naam samaavani-aa. He will give you that word and say, take this one word and just keep that word in your mind. Just repeat to yourself that word in mind, and everything else will fall in its place. तू आपे सच्चा सिरजनहारा भक्ति भरे तेरे भंडारा गुरमुख नाम मिले मन पीजे सहजे समाध लगावने. He is the creator. He is the maintainer. Ape sacha sirjanhara. Sirjanhara means the one who creates. Sacha means the ultimate truth. That is quality not given to you by anybody from outside. That is a quality from within you. Dhi-aavani-aa. It is your inborn characteristic to create. And when you create, how do I understand your creation? Bhakti bhare tere bhandara. Get into the meditative states. You will see it. In the meditative states, you can experience His creation in its purest form. While you are on the outside world, you will see nothing except the outside world. The world that's bound by the skin. That's it. Bhakti bhare tere bhandara, gurmukh naam mile man bhijay. And if you get that word into your heart from your master and your mind, bhijay. Bhijay literally means to get wet. The thing that gets wet starts running around. If your mind gets wet with that word, meaning thereby stop running around, stop moving around, then what will happen? Sahaj samadh lagaavani-aa. You will eventually attain the state of samadhi. Antar gun gama parabh tere, tuDh salahi pritam mere, tuDh bin avar na koi sacha gur prasadi tu paavni-aa. So make this commitment to yourself, within yourself, which is tuDh salahi. Okay, tuDh means you. Salahi means I am only now going to think about you, talk about you, and listen about you, and that's it. All other conversations are unnecessary. They are not even conversations. They are just noise, which is making the mind run around. tuDh salahi pritam mere. Oh my, pritam literally means lover. Husband of us all. That lover of us all. Only your memory. Only your thoughts. Why is that? tuDh bin avar na koi jacha. I haven't found anything else. There is no other one. There is only one. I will have a reason to stop this drama if I knew that there is another one, which is what is happening to us. We find other ones, right? We move from religion to religion, from a sadhu to sadhu, a sant to sant, a master to master. We just keep on moving because there are choices. But the one who is in touch with him, what choice does he have? There is no other. Even if he looks for it, there is no other like him. There may be some pretenders. Some of the theosophy has actually said that the devil started pretending like him. That's why he was able to attract a lot of people. We just made up the story. There is no devil. There are no angels. There is one creator and his creation. And to the creation, each one is living their own karmic life. That's it. That's the whole of the creation. Your karmic life. Everyone comes here to fulfill that purpose. If while you are fulfilling that purpose, you do not create an other karmic debt, your job will be done. You wouldn't need to come back. But if you end up creating more karmic debts, you say, okay, now go discharge these, and the cycle will continue. If you don't want to do and fall in that cycle, then andin gun gaava prabh tere tuDh salahi pritam mere. Oh my Lord, day and night, now I am only living with your memory, because tuDh bin avar na koi jacha. I have no other one like you. Jacha means to compare and recognize. Jaj lena, vekh lena, pehchan lena, just to see it in comparison. He said, there is no comparison. Who shall I compare you with? There is no other choice. So, what I am looking for then? Gur prasadi tu paavni-aa. I am looking for that grace from my Guru, from my Master, so that this lesson that he has given me or she has given me should stay with me for the rest of my life. So, according to the allotted time, we will take a pause here. Thank you all for coming. And if there are any comments or questions, the lines are still open.